Um, we found out about someone that we know, an expat, that had a situation.
We don't know personally. We know of.
Yeah, off social media. That they had a situation where they were assaulted, robbed, and ended up with some serious bodily injury. And my take on that is sometimes it doesn't matter how accustomed you are to be driving or moving around here in DR. You have to have a certain modicum or a certain awareness of your surroundings. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't get robbed. What I'm saying is that sometimes you need to know where you're going through. Like, if you're going through a barrio or if you're going through a deserted road, let's put it that way, you kind of need to be vigilant. And another thing is when you're carrying a backpack, packages, whatever it may be, that's more of a reason to be aware. And if you're riding a bike, I mean, if you're riding a four-wheeled vehicle, I mean, nobody's going to know what you're carrying. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that this isn't something that happens commonly. It's not, I'm not going to say it's an isolated incident, but I will say that it can happen to anybody if they're not careful. Let's put, for instance, there's places which a lot of people have addressed in Santo Domingo where you can't ride around, you can't walk around with jewelry. You really can't. Like with a big gaudy chain hanging over your neck or whatever. Someone will rip your chain off. But the bottom line is that it doesn't only happen here. It could happen anywhere. It could happen in the middle of New York for all intents and purposes. What's your take on it?
My take is that yes, it can happen anywhere in the free world, and it has happened. So many things can happen anywhere, anytime, even if you're in your house, and we'll talk about that too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But it's not specific to Dominican Republic, so that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that when you're here, be careful, be aware of your surroundings.
You're going, at least ask to the place that you're going. If obviously when you're moving around, when you're, let's say, doing internal tourism, most of the time you might be alone or you might be going to a friend's place. Ask them. I mean, they're not, I don't believe that if someone is your friend, they're going to judge you for asking them. It's like, hey, is it safe around there? You're just looking out for yourself. So I don't know why some people, me as a man of the law, asking doesn't make you look stupid. It's stupid not to ask. Because I've seen people go into barrios.
Let me stop right there.
Yeah.
You're a law enforcement officer, so you have seen this from the outside and the inside.
Yes.
Right? And the point we're trying to make here today is that, especially when you're a solo female traveler,
yes,
and they have romanticized this solo female traveling so much that you think that it is the thing to do. And it's not the thing to do. I actually have a problem with it because I need to know that I have someone that I can call or someone there who's looking out for me if I'm in a situation where I need help.
Yeah, and I'm can't do it all.
I'm not gonna go somewhere where I don't know by myself. I'm going with a taxi or a moto or whatever. I don't know these people. I don't know where they're gonna take me. I don't speak the language. There's a lot of I don't knows. So I think if you have someone there with you, like you're traveling with a group or even another female or anyone really, it makes a world of difference. So let's not try to stop, romanticizing this solo female traveler thing and just be real about safety. And that's what this topic is about today.
Yeah, but I'm going to stop you right there because there is also one thing that, a lot of people say that, and sometimes it always boils down to economics. What if you can't afford a taxi? What if I don't have a vehicle? I don't know anybody. What do you do then? What's your suggestion to them?
If you can't afford a taxi,
Yeah, let's say that all you could do is get on a motoconcho because you, for H or Y reason, or let me be extreme about it. Let's say you lost your wallet and all you have is 1,000 pesos.
that's a different situation.
Yeah, that's a different. Okay.
I'm talking about somebody who's traveling.
Mhm.
You're traveling, and you're going somewhere where you can't even afford to take a taxi or Uber. You don't need to be there. That's just the way I look at it. That means your finances aren't right, and you're not ready for that trip.
So a good point of advice is plan before you go
Exactly.
to the places that you're planning to go,
Exactly. Yes.
which you've touched on in other in past topics or past videos. Because when you can afford safety, it also affords you peace of mind.
Yeah.
Which is we're gonna talk about later about insurances and and having the backup plans. Now, flipping the script to another person, another expat that had a certain situation. They tried to break into their place, which actually they did. They managed to break in.
Place,
They broke the front door, and barring all the other details, the person managed to get in but didn't know that there was anybody at home. And when they noticed the person left, they ran off because they were expecting the place to be empty. Now, what does that tell us, or at least what we're thinking, is that the person who did this definitely knew the person they were breaking into. They already had it down to the point that they knew their routine. And at that time, normally the person would have not been home and there wouldn't be anybody around there to see.
But we'll put another spin on it. This is where you don't get comfortable, and this was an what you call it now, a situation that it happened in a neighborhood where it wasn't expected. It's not the barrio.
No.
You know,
Let's put it, it's a high-income neighborhood. You don't have barrio people.
Right.
Or you don't have any rundown cars yelling, amarillo, amarillo, los plátanos, or anything like that. And it still happened. That's the whole point. And everybody was shocked that it did happen.
Yes. But, again, it's who's living there and who their friends are that they're bringing into your space where you live, where you think is safe. But they're pretty much like in the States, like they say, casing the joint.
Yes.
They're looking around, they're seeing who's there, they come, they visit, they see who's
Who's
goes,
there,
whose
at
cars
what
belong
time.
to who, they can make plans to do things that normally they wouldn't do if they didn't have access to that building or that neighborhood. So again, you have to be careful. Even when you live in an upscale area, it can happen to you anywhere. So it's just being careful. But in this case, she was careful because her door was closed.
Yes. And it was locked.
And it was locked.
Broke the door.
They literally broke the locks, almost took the door off the hinge. In the middle of the day, by the way. 2 o'clock in the afternoon with other people in the building.
With other people in the building. You have to be very brazen.
Brazen.
To do that. Now, you would think it's like, hey, I mean, like, how brave is a person to break in at knowing that, because most people know that I live there, or not, like, let's say, put it that way, that you don't know who's in the building at that time.
Right.
You just know that your target is not there. That's the way that I see it. But what if they had run into someone?
Mm-hmm.
What would have been the situation there? Well, you run into someone coming up the stairs, and the first thing you're going to think, well, they belong there. I mean, they're coming up. They wouldn't think much of it. So, another thing is, which a lot of people talk about socializing with the locals, and I'm not saying it's bad to socialize. Now, there is a limit to what your socialization should be. And it's not, again, I don't like to relegate it just to here. Even in the States, you don't talk about what you have or how well you're living or et cetera, because a lot of people get jealous of that. They start hating on you and then even start casing you as an easy mark. And the person who knows everything about you, he's not going to make the attempt himself, but he's going to tell someone else like, yo, such and such lives in such a good place, and the guy's loaded, he has a safe, he has whatever. And we even heard of a story of someone here in DR who was burglarized, and it turned out it was someone very close to home. You know, you could never be too safe. In a sense, you just have to, it boils down to you being private about what you have and how you're living and the people you associate with. And also keeping let's say a broad spectrum of vision, like to the people, can't even see my face.
You mean keeping your circles tight?
Exactly.
Like we do.
Like we do. We're not exactly
social,
but
too social.
And the happening can come even from close to home. Like we mentioned, there's someone that we know that got burglarized, and it turned out that the person who burglarized him was very close to home. Literally was technically he was family.
No. Oh yeah, well that.
Yeah, technically. So the takeaway, at least when it comes to security, safety, and the possibility of something happening, it can happen to anybody. You're not above being robbed. Like let's just get that out of the way. And it doesn't matter if you're here in DR, New York, Manhattan. Doesn't matter. The thing is that you cannot leave yourself vulnerable to that situation. You have to take certain steps to avoid that happening to you. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. It's just going to happen. You know, but even after it happens, just have a calm presence of mind. Keep yourself cool, calm, and collected. And follow, let's say, your own protocol or your logic.
Well, let's go to the next
step. Yeah, the next step.
If you are a victim of a crime, here, we're talking about here because this is where we are.
Yes.
You don't speak the language, whatever. What should someone do to call the police, whether it's calling police, calling 911, but what's the next step? What works here?
Well, you can call 911 and it will redirect you to the police. 911 does work here. And the next part is that the CRIM, which is the Division of Criminal Investigation of the Police in Dominican Republic, will come to your home. They will ask you questions and see what is it that has been stolen from you, etc., etc. But they are the ones that need to come and check out. Remember, we're in a third world country, and depending on how, let's say, critical the crime was, you will see them acting accordingly. Let's say if someone just breaks into your house but nothing is stolen, much like in the States, which you know that happens, they really won't. They'll just say, well, you just lost the door. You didn't lose anything. So you won't see them, doing any fingerprint liftings or anything of the sort. Now, let's say on the flip side, you see that someone breaks into your house, they steal certain things or whatever, they will do what they need to do. Even the police officers, I don't know if you noticed the ones that went to our acquaintance's place, you seen one of them had a kit.
Yeah.
They had a fingerprint kit. So, contrary to what a lot of people think, they do have the methods and the capabilities to track down, depending if it's a delinquent, if they have the registered fingerprints and all of that, they will do it. Now, another thing is that when the police comes, try to be as thorough or as detailed as possible, giving them information which could lead them or point them in the right direction. See, like our friend, like we told them everything about our friend and what their routine is and everything, and they came to the same conclusion that it's someone that obviously knows them to a certain degree, because they planned what they did was thoroughly planned out, because they chose a time in the day. They went in and they didn't take anything, but they were looking, or they were going straight for the bedroom. So it's someone that clearly has a certain amount of knowledge, which again, it circles back to what we said about the social circle.
Yep.
Now,
So, okay. So, and if there is injury, you said when you call 911, they will
send.
they send an ambulance?
Yes, they
as
will.
well as the police comes?
Remember when our friend had the medical incident?
Yeah.
I called 911 and I asked them for an ambulance. And usually, depending on what side of the city you are, although, remember, again, I cannot stress this enough. We are in a third world country, so sometimes they won't be able to find the address. And that's something very important. Know your address, know the sector that you're living in, and even have placeholders. Let's say, oh, there's a banca 2 streets over, or there's a barbershop 1 street over. That will help them reach your place easy. And they'll even ask you to have someone standing outside of the residence, so when they see the 911 vehicle come, they can stop. But yeah, 911 works for roadside assistance, for calling an ambulance, and to redirect you to the police. Now, the language barrier, which is one of the things that really, it turns everything into a roadblock. It's good to have a translator program, because you don't have a Ricardo on hand, although, or a translator, and sometimes things can get lost in translation. But there's a lot of apps, there's programs that are free in case you don't want to spend $15 or $20 on it. And just have that in hand, because sometimes one small detail that could get lost can help you close a case, can help you find out who, when, and where. Or it could even help them get to you in time to help you out in case you have an accident, or if you need an ambulance. Like in the case of our friend, if I hadn't been there, I don't think he would have even been found. Honestly speaking, he wouldn't be with us today. And taking a tangent there, we lead to the next topic, which is about insurances and the importance of having it. Yeah. So there are several insurance companies that it doesn't matter what your nationality is, you can register in them. There's Senasa, Mafre, there's Universal, there's ARS, Humano. There's a whole plethora of insurances. Now, there's a lot of people that say, oh, is it expensive? Is it hard to register yourself? No, it just really depends on your age group is the first thing, and the kind of insurance you're looking for. And in this case, it would be health insurance. If most insurances have a 90 to a 100% coverage on medical emergencies on non-pre-existing patients. So that's one of the key points that a lot of people don't understand. If you already have pre-existing, yes, they will cover your emergency, but they will not cover anything else. And I don't know if
Which is like a routine visit.
Exactly.
They won't cover, but then the routine visits are so inexpensive, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the most important thing I feel
is to have
it for emergencies, because that's where you can really have a problem, unless you have a lot of money sitting around just waiting to pay for medical emergencies. And I don't think most people understand how critical that is. That you need to have insurance. That was one of the first things I got when I came here. I made it my duty to have insurance. Now, in the situation of the person that got injured and got robbed, she stated in an interview that she did on live that she had insurance, but she had gone back to the States for a couple of months and she let it lapse. So she was about to get it reinstated in September.
So in other words, when the emergency happened, she didn't
have insurance. But to me, that logic doesn't make sense because the insurance here is not so expensive that even if you pay it, if you're even not in the country, and I was away back and forth constantly for so many months.
But the bottom line was that you found a system so that you could send the representative the money so they could pay for it.
It was direct withdrawal.
Direct deposit.
Direct withdrawal because they were taking it out of my account every month.
Okay. So you set it up online?
I set it up on auto payments.
Okay.
Auto payments, they got paid every month when it was due. It was a no-brainer. So I didn't even see the money, but I didn't have to worry about getting it to her or whatever. It was just taken out. Now, I feel that even if you're not going to be here, emergencies happen. And even in the States, emergencies happen. In Canada, wherever, emergencies happen. So does that mean that you're not going to pay your insurance every month because you don't have any, you're not using it? It makes no sense to me. So that was, to me, a little off, a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
The logic behind that. You know, if the money is so important, every little penny, that you can't afford to spare it, then again we come back to are you ready to live abroad? Are you ready to make that move? Because if $50 or $40 is going to make such a difference in your budget that you need that money when you're not here, to me, then maybe you have to rethink being able to live outside of your place of birth, honestly.
Yeah, but this is what I'm gonna say though, because we also covered that in a certain point or in another video, that you have to plan out. You can't just wing it, because winging it can bring a lot of problems. Like our friend that had that situation, the insurance which he had, which he still has as a matter of fact, was a claim insurance. In other words, you have to pay everything out of your own pocket and then claim it to the insurance company so they give you back your money. But at minimum, they were asking for over $7,000 just to have him hospitalized. Who has $7,000 in their pocket to pay in a foreign country when you know that if you send a lot of people, this has happened to a lot of people I know, that when they try to send more than $1,000 through cash, whatever, or Remitly or any other cash advancement apps, they block your account. So you could be having a medical emergency and you wouldn't have any access to money or whatever, and you won't be taken care of in a sense, or you won't be able to take care of yourself. So a lot of people I know are going to be asking, oh, what's the prices? What can I do? Price-wise, the minimum I would say that you would pay a month is $40.
That's
highest,
what I was paying.
yeah, that's what you're paying around $4.50 because you got the premium.
Now.
Yeah, for the premium, because there were a bit of a higher inflation, whatever. But you're gonna tell me that if you can't afford to pay $50 a month for your insurance for peace of mind, because you never know you could even trip and fall at home, or you can have a bad cut, and an emergency visit could run you up to $800 to $900 depending on what they do, if they have to stitch you up or whatever. Medicine is expensive, and yeah, you can go to the public hospital, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Might not be a very pleasant
but it
experience.
might not be, exactly. It will not be a very pleasant experience depending on where you live and where you go. Because I've gone myself to public hospitals, and sometimes it's pleasant. I get taken care of early, fast. There's times where the place is full. There's way too much, or there's an emergency where all hands are on deck on the emergencies, or maybe the doctor's not in, etc., etc. So insurance is important. If you don't have it, or let's say you're only coming for a month and you're like, well, I'm not going to go all the way to registering an insurance just to go for a month or for a week outside of the country.
Then you get travel insurance.
Exactly. You get the I think you told me the name of it was
Nomad. There's Nomad, and there's a few others, but the one that I've used before I did have insurance here is Nomad. And yeah, they charge you based on the length of your trip, and mine was $80. So I didn't use it, I didn't need it, but I don't mind. I call that $80 to cover me in case.
Yeah.
You know, in case. So if I can't afford $80 of peace of mind, then I don't need to go on that trip. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And there might have been times when I did travel without it, and when I came back, I said, "Damn, I forgot to do my insurance." But thank God nothing happened.
Yeah.
But trust me, there are many times when I've made sure after the ticket was purchased, the insurance was purchased. So that's just the way I choose to live. For my peace of mind. I don't know about other people, but that's just the way I choose to live. And I like to not have to worry about that. My health is the most important thing to me. You know, money, you can lose money, you can make it back and all of that.
You should know.
You know, and I've lost a lot. But, you know, your health, you want to make sure that you're not going to lose an arm, a limb, or whatever. And
Permanent damage is literally that. It's permanent.
You can't grow it back. You know,
Yeah.
you can't grow it back. So, yeah. So that's what we really wanted to talk about, and we hope that it makes a difference. It's just the mindset. It's just how you think. You know, just like people say, "Oh my God." I'm in a lot of chat groups, and there is a conversation constantly of how much money it takes to live here. And some people will say, "Can I live here on $1,200? Can I live here on $2,000? And there are people that would say, "Oh no, that you could never do that. You're just gonna be on the edge. If anything happens, you don't even have extra money for this, for that, blah 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 blah." It has to do with your lifestyle, where you choose to live, and how you spend your money. But yes, it's still possible. It still happens. Because even though you might have X amount of money to live on, you might not need the entire amount of money every month.
Yeah.
But it is possible. And yes, like I said, your lifestyle, if you want to live in a super fabulous gated community in Punta Cana, and you're going to pay X amount of money to live, and it's
and internet and all the amenities.
Yes, you're going to need more money. If you choose to live in still a safe, safe in terms of what we consider safe, decent,
middle class,
you can still find apartments, 2 bedrooms for $580, $600, 3 bedrooms. It's still here, despite what some people might say. So if you put all your expenses, your health insurance, your housing, food, and miscellaneous, you can still survive here. Yes, you might not have a lot of extra to travel all over the world, but it's what you need right here and now. So again, we're gonna say thank you for watching. If you found value in this car video, which we haven't done for so long because Rick has been so busy, we appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share this video so that we can reach more people, and we are growing. Thank you so much for new subscribers.
I think we just hit 300 subscribers.
We just hit 300 subscribers, and it might seem so small
to many,
but to us, we value everyone.
It is a very important milestone.
You could be tuning into anybody in this
world,
this YouTube world, but you chose to tune into us. So
thank you
share,
so
subscribe,
much.
and join us again for another car video. Bye now.